Hey everyone, in this video I will be showing why it is more important to be reducing our plastics rather than recycling. Let's get into it. Now, as you know, plastics come in many different forms. They're usually common and cheap products that we can find like pretty much anywhere. Many of these products, they're known as single-use items, meaning that they're used only once and then they're just tossed away. And 8 million metric tons of plastics actually end up in our natural environments, our oceanic, coastal environments, every single year. And a direct result of that is the fragmentation of these plastic items into smaller pieces. And that is done through solar UV radiation, oxidation, and current and wave impacts. And these tiny fragments are known as microplastics. So microplastics are about less than 7 millimeters in length. And then you also have something smaller than that, and they're called nanoplastics. In a recent study done by a team out in the Great Lakes, researchers have found microplastics in most of the fish samples that they have collected. And in another study done in both Indonesia and California, out of the individuals sampled from each species, in Indonesia, 55% of those species collected were found to have microplastics in their gut. And then 67% of species sampled in California also had some type of microplastic within their gut as well. So this really raised concern for me since my family and I, and I'm sure that your families, we do consume fish and other seafood. More studies are underway right now to assess the risk of bioaccumulation from ingesting seafood containing microplastics. In order to lessen plastics entering our environment, one of the biggest things that we can do as individuals is reducing our use. Not recycling, which is much easier to do. It's the easiest of the 3 R's if you've heard of it: reduce, reuse, recycle. Many of us just end up recycling. We think that it is, by recycling, we are doing this great thing for the environment. But in actuality, it's reducing that that makes the biggest difference. The next thing that we can do is reusing the plastic items that we already have in our households, wherever they are, that we pretty much still cling on to. The global recycling rate for plastics is only 9%. And in New York City, where I live, the recycling rate here, according to the Department of Sanitation's recent report in 2019, it's only 18.1%. It turns out that nowhere in the world actually has really good infrastructure for recycling. So because of the lack of infrastructure, 60 to 80% of all of our plastic waste actually ends up in either the landfill or the environment. They end up in the environment because they can be picked up from anywhere by wind, since they're lightweight and buoyant. Not only must individuals do their part, but also companies, namely energy companies. Plastics are very much a fossil fuel product, so petroleum and natural gas are needed to create plastics. Again, many of these products are just thrown out after one use. So we really have to rethink the way that we're producing plastics. For the rest of this video, I will be diving into ways in which you can begin to reduce your use. So why don't we get into a few examples that I have in store for you. My car trunk has several reusable bags so that I do not forget them on the way out. And these are 2 of my reusable bags. I usually prefer the cloth one because they can be machine washed and dried. I still have yet to get produce bags that are made out of cloth because they are reusable too. And I don't have to use the plastic ones. If I do have to use the plastic ones, I would reuse the ones that I already have in my house. Here's my trusty Tupperware. Usually whenever I do go out to eat, if I have leftovers or if I need get something on the go, I would usually ask to see if they can put my food in my Tupperware for me. And surprisingly, more often than not, they do say yes, but it might depend on the locations that you're living in, depending on the restaurant too. And if I do know that I'm going to an event and there's like, say, lots of pastries that I can get, or small or other small food items, I can usually just use the smaller Tupperware. And both are lightweight, and I usually carry a small backpack everywhere I go, just so that I can like bring one of these along. So I have here a plastic tub of butter. The alternative to this would be the regular waxy coated wraps around the butter blocks. Kerrygold uses foil instead of the waxy wrap. So, and I would recommend Kerrygold over any other brand because their butter actually tastes the best. And I would say that the foil does keep the butter fresher. When you're buying eggs, of course, you would have to have a carrier to transport them around. I would definitely go with the cardboard option rather than the styrofoam or polystyrene option, because styrofoam, polystyrene, it's much harder to recycle. In a 2019 study done by researchers at McGill University, they have found microplastics dispersing from the silken sachets, which are made out of nylon or PET. While this is not silken sachet, I'm not too sure what this tea bag is made of. It is still wrapped in plastic packaging. So what I would go with instead is the bulk loose leaf teas with, can't really see anything down there, but it definitely has less packaging. And I'm still trying to find out if you can in fact recycle this foil if anything. Otherwise, I think you can reuse it in some way. Now, sometimes I would buy bulk protein containers, and these containers are perfect for transferring compost materials from your home to a compost site. And there is one small site right behind my office building, so this is perfect. There are some folks who like to have a plastic covering over their kitchen table. I'm not showing you my kitchen table right now because it has a lot of stuff on it, so just pretend that this is. In order to keep the tables clean for when they're eating dinner especially. So I do not use plastic covering. So what I do after each meal, after my family and I eat our meal, we just clean the table simply with the wet cloth. Put some crumbs right here. And for a deeper clean, you could just like easily soak this with soap and water. And all it takes are a few strokes going from end to end of the table, and you're done. So there you have it. I hope that this video has given you some ideas on reducing your use. What I would like you guys to do now is to post in the comments below and tell me one way in which you're going to reduce your use from now on. Or if you have already been reducing your use, please do share how you have been doing so. And I'd like you to share this on your Instagram too. And also tag me at KDG Leung, that's KATIEGLEUNG. And I will feature you on my Instagram story and hopefully inspiring others to reduce their use. And I also want you to think about how else are you going to reduce in other aspects of your lives. It could be reducing your mileage, or reducing the amount of water that you use, reducing your time in the shower. So one thing does lead to another, and you will start seeing like a new trend for yourself in reducing your use. So I hope that was helpful, and yeah, if you're not following me, follow me at KDG Leung, where I will be sharing more tips on how to reduce and diving much more into the plastic pollution issue. Until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching.